is Canale's bone process. Scapula. Okay, we have the lateral border, the medial border, the superior border, the inferior angle, the superior angle, the glenoid fossa, the spine, the acromion process, the coracoid process, supraspinous fossa, the infraspinous fossa, the subscapular fossa, and the subscapular knot, and that is a scapula. Moving on to the clavicle, also called the collarbone. So we have a right clavicle right here, as you can see, and our lateral end, also called the acromial end, is right here. And then our sternal end, also called the medial end, is right here. And that is our clavicle. Okay, so we have these femurs now. So this is the head. Then we have the anatomical neck, surgical neck, the greater tubercle, and the lesser tubercle. Then the bicipital groove, right in here. And then we have the deltoid tuberosity, the radial groove, the trochlea, the capitulum, the medial epicondyle, the lateral epicondyle, the medial supracondylar ridge, and the lateral supracondylar ridge, the coronoid fossa, the radial fossa, and the olecranon fossa. And that is our humerus. Alright, moving on to the ulna. We have the olecranon process right here, the coronoid process right here, trochlea knot right in here, the radial knot right there, the head of the ulna, and then the styloid process. And that is our ulna. On to the radius. So we have the head of the radius right here, the neck, the radial tuberosity, the styloid process, and the ulnar knot. And that is our radius. Now we're looking at the hand. So we have our scaphoid, our trapezium, our trapezoid, captate, lunate, sacral, pisiform, and hamate. We have our first metacarpal, our second metacarpal, our third metacarpal, fourth metacarpal, and our fifth metacarpal. We have our first proximal phalange, our second proximal phalange, third proximal phalange, fourth proximal phalange, and fifth proximal phalange. We have our first distal phalange, our second middle phalange, third middle phalange, fourth middle phalange, and fifth middle phalange. Our second distal phalange, our third distal phalange, our fourth distal phalange, and our fifth distal phalange. And that is our hand. Now we're on to the pelvis. First, the ilium. So this is the ilium. We have the iliac crest up here, the anterior superior iliac spine, anterior inferior iliac spine, posterior superior iliac spine, posterior inferior iliac spine, the greater sciatic knot, the acetabulum, and the iliac fossa. Pelvis, but the ischium, which is the posterior inferior part. So we have the ischial spine right here, the lethosciatic knots right here, the ischial tuberosity right there, and then the ischial ramus right here. And that is the ischium. Okay, so now we're on the last part of the pelvis, which is the pubis, which is the anterior inferior part. So we have our superior ramus right here, the inferior ramus, our obturator foramen, this is a big hole right here, pubic crest, and pubic symphysis. That is the pelvis. Moving on to the femur. Okay. So here we have our head, our neck, the greater trochanter, and the lesser trochanteric. And then we have our intratrochanteric line right here. And then we have the intertrochanteric crest in here. Our gluteal tuberosity right there. Our linea aspera. And then we have right here is our lateral condyle, our medial condyle. Then we have our medial epicondyle, our lateral epicondyle, the patellar surface, and the intracondylar fossa. And that is our femur. Moving on to the patella. We have our apex right here, and see if it's left or right. We point it up, put it down. It's left. So here's our apex, here's our base, and on the posterior side we have our facet surfaces, and that is the tiny patella. Now it's time for the tibia. Alright, so we have our lateral condyle right here, our medial condyle right here, tibial tuberosity right here, anterior crest or anterior border, and then our medial malleolus, and that's our tibia. Alright, now to the tibia. So we have our head of the fibula, the neck, the shaft or anterior border fibula, and then the lateral malleolus. And that is it for the fibula. And there's used quite a lot. So we have our calcaneus right here, also the heel, there's the heel. Then the talus, the navicular, the cuboid, and the three cuneiforms, which is the medial cuneiform, the intermediate cuneiform, and the lateral cuneiform. Our metatarsals, here's the first metatarsal, second metatarsal, third metatarsal, fourth metatarsal, and the fifth metatarsal. And we can see that this is the base of the fifth metatarsal, and this is the head of the fifth metatarsal. Our phalanges, we have our first proximal phalange, our second proximal phalange, our third proximal phalange, fourth proximal phalange, and fifth proximal phalange. Then we have our second middle phalange, our third middle phalange, our fourth middle phalange, and our fifth middle phalange. And then we have the first distal phalange, the second distal phalange, the third distal phalange, the fourth distal phalange, and the fifth distal phalange. And that is our foot. So here we have a left calcaneus, and then we have a left talus, which fits into the calcaneus just like that. And then we have a left navicular. And then I couldn't find a cuboid, but it's literally shaped like a cube, and it is on the foot, which is right here. Cube shape. Yeah, that's it. Of the foot.